The Vortak Empire had conquered 17 star systems before they encountered their first real resistance. For 3 millennia, they had swept through the galaxy like a crimson tide, their crystalline warships reducing entire civilizations to radioactive ash. Their warriors stood 8 feet tall, their exoskeletons harder than titanium, their minds networked into a collective consciousness that made tactical errors virtually impossible. Commander Thexvar surveyed the holographic display aboard the flagship Bloodspear, watching the blue-white marble of the third planet rotate slowly before them. The indigenous species called it Earth, according to their intercepted transmissions. The electromagnetic signatures suggested a young civilization, barely past nuclear fission, still bound to their home world by primitive chemical rockets. Another easy conquest. Thexvar's lieutenant, Zektol, transmitted through their neural link. Their weapons are laughably primitive. Carbon-based projectiles and crude explosives. The Vortak had perfected warfare through millennia of practice. Their quantum phase cannons could slice through planetary crusts. Their shield matrices deflected energy weapons that would have vaporized lesser species. Their soldiers were genetically engineered killing machines, each one worth 1,000 ordinary warriors. Earth's resistance was expected to last perhaps 6 rotations. The first landing craft touched down in what the humans called the Pacific Ocean, their stealth fields rendering them invisible to the planet's crude detection systems. Within minutes, Vortak assault teams had established beachheads on 7 continents simultaneously. The initial strikes targeted military installations and communication hubs, following standard doctrine. But something went wrong almost immediately. The humans didn't behave like other conquered species. Instead of cowering in their cities or attempting hopeless counterattacks with conventional weapons, they seemed to vanish into the landscape itself. Urban centers emptied overnight, but not into refugee camps, into something far more troubling. Dr. Elena Rodriguez crouched in the abandoned subway tunnel beneath what had once been New York City, her laptop screen casting eerie shadows on the concrete walls. Around her, a dozen other researchers and engineers worked frantically, their equipment jury-rigged from salvaged components and pure desperation. The quantum resonance frequency is stable, she reported to the encrypted communication network that somehow still functioned despite the alien occupation. If Jackson's calculations are correct, we can turn their own shield technology against them. The Vortak had made a crucial mistake. They had studied human technology but not human nature. They expected resistance from soldiers and governments, not from professors and mechanics, not from farmers and teenagers working together in ways their collective consciousness couldn't predict. 3 months into the occupation, Commander Thexvar began receiving reports that made no sense. Entire Vortak platoons were vanishing without transmitting distress signals. Their quantum phase cannons were mysteriously malfunctioning, often turning on the Vortak forces themselves. Supply lines were being disrupted by attacks that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere simultaneously. The humans had done something unprecedented in galactic warfare. They had reverse-engineered captured Vortak technology and weaponized their own creativity against it. Using principles their primitive science barely understood, they had created quantum feedback loops that turned the invaders' advanced systems into elaborate self-destruct mechanisms. But the real shock came when Thexvar intercepted a human transmission that chilled even his warrior's blood. A young human named Marcus Chen was explaining to others how to modify captured Vortak neural interfaces. The beauty is, the human said, their collective consciousness makes them incredibly efficient, but it also makes them vulnerable. Once we inject the right kind of chaotic signal into their network, they can't shut us out. We become part of their system. Within days, Vortak commanders began receiving contradictory orders. Battle formations dissolved into confusion as individual warriors suddenly found themselves thinking thoughts that weren't their own. Human thoughts, chaotic and unpredictable and utterly alien to their ordered minds. The final blow came when Dr. Rodriguez successfully activated her quantum resonance cascade from 12 different locations simultaneously. The Vortak's own shield matrices became amplification chambers, broadcasting human consciousness directly into their collective network. For the first time in their species' history, the Vortak experienced fear. Not their own calculated risk assessments, but raw human terror mixed with an absolutely irrational determination to survive at any cost. Commander Thexvar gave the retreat order from his burning flagship as it fell through Earth's atmosphere. The most dangerous species in the galaxy, he realized too late, wasn't the one with the best weapons. It was the one crazy enough to use its enemies' weapons better than they could.